At dinner, I noticed my 4-year-old daughter occasionally stealing a glance at her mother, then turning away quickly. Being so young, her grasp on subtlety isn't all that great, and it's obvious to the both of us that something is plaguing her mind. I know what it is. My daughter and I are sitting at one end of the dining room table, my wife at the other. This is the way it was before my wife had her accident, and nothing has changed. The reason for our particular seating arrangement is that my wife loves to look at our daughter. She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Why wouldn't I want to look at her all the time? She said to me once, and I can relate. We're doing our best not to let the accident disrupt our lives, but it's difficult to explain what's going on to a 4-year-old child. It must be such a confusing time for her. My daughter leans in towards me and whispers in her softest voice, so that her mother doesn't hear. Again, though, subtlety wasn't her strong suit, and she just about shouted, "Why does Mummy have to sit in that chair now?" My heart broke a little bit when she said it. I looked up to see my wife's reaction. She was smiling so sweetly, though. My wife is the kindest and most understanding person I've ever met in my life. Probably the main reason why I married her. She was like that before the accident, and nothing has changed. My wife's smile tells me that I've got to explain the situation again to my daughter, like I had done so many times, but she had still failed to grasp it. "Sweetie, listen. You remember your mummy fell down the stairs and got lots of really bad ouchies?" "Uh-huh," she nods. "Well, Mummy can't walk anymore, and we need that wheelchair to get her around the house easier, you see?" "Okay." I'm sure I'll have to go over it again, but she seemed pretty satisfied. I once more glanced towards my wife. This time she's smiling to show me I've done well, and I smile back just as warmly. After dinner, I do the dishes while my daughter draws at the table. Again, it's how we've always done things. I put on my wife's favourite soap opera and make sure she's comfortable after I lift her out of the wheelchair and into the reclining one in the living room. I plant a kiss on her forehead. As I empty the leftover food into the bin, I notice my daughter lean in towards me. "Why does Mummy's face look funny?" Again, my heart breaks. My wife is so beautiful, but the accident has left her with pretty bad facial injuries. Now, I would never use the word ruined, but her once gorgeous face has been overshadowed. My love for her will never be. "Mummy fell down the stairs, remember? She got lots of ouchies on her face. I know she looks a little bit different, but she's still the same Mummy, okay?" "Okay," she mumbles again. I hope to God that the television in the living room was loud enough to drown out her question, and I whisper to her, "No more questions about Mummy, okay?" "Okay, Daddy," she whispers back, even though her face shows her confusion. I think she's scared of her mother now, and it kills me. After I've cleaned, I take my daughter upstairs to tuck her in for the night. This is one of the only things that has changed since the accident, as my wife used to love that part of the evening. But she can't get up and down the stairs anymore, and we don't have any money for a stair lift. Purchasing her wheelchair alone just about cleared out our bank account. After she's in bed, I lift my wife's chair up into her daughter's room and sit it at the foot of her bed. You see, before the accident, my wife would always take her up to her room and lie next to her as she drifted off. Sometimes I would walk in and find them both sleeping, cradled against each other in such a blissful-looking pose. I would just leave them be. Now, though, my wife can't do this, so I carry her up the stairs and gently place her in the wheelchair at the base of the bed. This way, she can still get to watch her beloved sleep. My wife is such a good mother. It's so important for a girl to have a maternal figure while she's growing up. Taking my wife up to our daughter's room is my favourite part of the day. Her arm drapes around my neck, my hands caress her head, and our faces are so close I can count the eyelashes that envelop those beautiful eyes. We maintain eye contact as we silently ascend the carpeted steps, and it's a delicate connection that hasn't changed since the accident. I inhale her scent, and we rub our cheeks together as we share this passionate, breathless moment that I long so dearly for each day. I gently lower my wife into her chair, placing another faint kiss upon her lips and whispering my love. Then I switch on our daughter's nightlight and turn to leave them be alone with one another. That's when I hear our little girl whimper ever so softly. "What's wrong, sweetie?" I whisper as I lean in close to her. Her face is buried into her pillow as she speaks. "Does Mummy have to stay here all night again?" This time she doesn't even attempt subtlety. I don't look towards my wife, as I can't bear to see that pained smile upon her face. "That's enough. She's still your mummy, and you'll make her sad if you say things like that." "But why does Mummy smell so funny?" I don't know if she's referring to the formaldehyde or the other odor. It has been 5 days since the accident, and my attempts to preserve my beautiful wife haven't been good enough. I've even put a couple of stitches in her cheeks, so that she'd always be happy and smiling. It still isn't enough, though. I'm just so glad she's still here with us. I think I would lose my mind if she wasn't. It's so important for a girl to have a maternal figure while she's growing up, don't you think?